Hi, I'm Tobi from metaFox, and this is a short video explainer on the metaFox Strength Explorer. When taking a client on a coaching journey, you might want to start out by assessing where they are today. Help them clarify who they are and who they want to be, and help them find their sweet spot, activities which give them energy and that they are great at. All of this is possible through strengths coaching, and strengths coaching is made perfectly easy and fun with the Strength Explorer. As a coach, you can get started on the metaFox shop and open the client-facing app from there. It opens the URL app.metafox.eu/strengths, and this is the link that you can share with your client and where they can start their journey. They get a bit of context and start their assessment with a quick onboarding. They are briefly introduced to the survey process. They learn that they will be asked about different kinds of activities and that they can score themselves on these activities. On the one hand, asking, how often do I do this kind of thing? And if I do it, how energizing do I find it? Does it give me energy or do I find it rather draining? After the onboarding, they will need to log in. This allows them to continue the survey where they left off in case they get interrupted. And then they can go through a 10-minute assessment. The assessment looks very similar to the onboarding, always using the same kind of interface where the user will be asked about different kinds of activities, different kinds of behaviors, and they can score it themselves. After only 36 questions, this is done and we get to our report. The report starts out with what clients are most eager to see, and this is their top strengths. On this top 5 tab of our dashboard, they get a quick overview of the highest scoring strength roles. The strength is presented with a name, an icon, and a short description. How does this strength look like when used meaningfully? In the coaching conversation, you can already extract a lot from this first section of our dashboard. What is surprising for the client? Where can they see their top strengths in their life? What are they proud of? Which of their top strengths may take a bit too much room? Where do we have a risk of overusing the strength? Before diving deeper into the report, the client can learn some basics on strengths psychology on this info tab. Why do we even look at strengths? What are realized strengths and what are unrealized strengths? Why is it still useful, even in strengths coaching, to know and learn about my weaknesses and learned behaviors? Equipped with this knowledge, we can then move on into the report section of our dashboard. The report starts out with the strength radar. On the radar, we can view both the energy and the frequency scores that the client rated themselves for every strength role. This is also the basis for how we categorize strength in the next section into realized and unrealized strengths on the one hand, and learned behaviors and weaknesses on the other. Realized strengths are the ones that give our client energy and that they can actually put to use in their daily life. For those, the client gets served an example for this meaningful use and also an example for overuse. How would it look like when they use this strength too much? This is also a theme that you can explore further in the coaching conversation. Next, we see the unrealized strengths. These are things that give the client energy, but they don't manage to put to use in daily life. This is why, next to the meaningful use example, the client gets a hint for how they could bring this strength more into their life. Also a great theme to explore further in the coaching conversation. The learned behaviors are things that our client does use, possibly even a lot, but that don't give them energy. This is maybe also good to know, good to be aware of, and maybe nice to explore in the coaching conversation if the client has an issue and wants to get a change there. And if our client says, well, this is actually something that bothers me that I want to explore, then in the coaching conversation, you can look at how can I deploy strengths to balance or replace my learned behavior? How can I maybe delegate things to other people to get help in these areas and be more in my sweet spot so I can get energy from the things I do? These are also the kinds of questions that we can explore in our last category, the weaknesses. And if we now hear this term weakness, some people might say, well, in strength psychology, we want to focus on strengths and forget about the weaknesses, right? Well, yes, we want to focus on strengths and we want to put these strengths out more, develop them, and put them into real life. We don't want to necessarily improve on weaknesses. Nevertheless, the client can still benefit from knowing their weaknesses, befriend them, and maybe even wear them with pride. This allows them then to consciously delegate in these areas. This is already the overview of today's Strength Explorer dashboard. It will constantly evolve as we get your feedback. However, there's 2 more features that I would still like to show you. Firstly, this is the Export PDF button up there, where the client can print out all the dashboard content into a simple A4 PDF document. This is what they can then email to you and bring to the coaching session to discuss. Secondly, all that we have seen was based on our client's self-assessment. The full power of the Strength Explorer, however, is only unlocked through the power of strength-based peer feedback. That means that in this feedback section up here, the client can invite people close to them to give them feedback. That means that the client can send a simple link to colleagues, to family members, or to friends, and they will then in turn be able to fill out a quite similar survey on behalf of the client. This will allow our client to then compare their own self-perception to how others see themselves. Enough talking from me. Try it yourself, experience the power of strengths coaching firsthand. Enjoy.